Are you feeling frustrated, not sure where to start? You cannot land your first job as a PM because you lack experience. Have you noticed that most jobs, even the entry-level ones, ask for 2 years of experience at least? I know how you feel because I have been there too.
I've been trying to get an associate PM role for some time now. It's like the chicken and egg problem. Even the junior positions require past PM experience.
If you want to know what to do about this, watch this video till the end because I've talked to dozens of hiring managers, received their feedback, and ultimately found a way to turn things around. Why is this happening? Check out this job description for an entry-level product manager role. Product management is not as cut and dry as some other roles, which have very clear paths. If you want to be a doctor, you go to medical school. If you want to be a great painter, you buy a paint and brush and enroll in some classes. I struggle a lot too because I lived in many countries for the last 10 years, and it was really hard to pursue the same career due to all the constant moving. Reasons included the local job market, visas for employment, a lack of experience in a given job that was only available at that time. On the side note, I lived in Panama, the US, Taiwan, China, and now Canada. I recently came to Canada, and the so-called Canadian experience has been one of the major challenges I've faced and witnessed in some friends and peers in similar situations. By Canadian experience, in other words, any job that was basically gained in Canada. How am I supposed to get it if I cannot get hired? Just to give you an idea, some of the roles that I did in the past included account management, sales, project and program management, so everything related to business, and even teaching high school students online courses. I always struggled with the idea that you need to have more than 5 years of experience doing the same thing in order to be hired more easily. But the bottom line, if you have a variety of skills, don't worry, there is a job out there for you in product. It's much better to have a little bit of experience and knowledge in a lot of things than to be deeply experienced in only one thing. But there is one caveat. If you don't have experience as a PM, keep this in mind. You have to create your own experience and prove that you have the skills. But before we jump into how to create your experience, we have to first assess where we are now, which starts with identifying what current skills do you have. This will help you stand out. First, let's take a look at the jobs you have done in the past. For example, after carefully taking a look at my previous work experience, some of the transferable skills included market research, people management, project management, and working with cross-functional teams. Or basically a fancy way of saying working with people from other departments. Now that you have identified the skills, you do realize that you have experience now, right? Second, the next step is being able to create your experience, and this is the most challenging out there, but no worries, we'll go into this shortly. Last but not least, tweak your CV and LinkedIn with the right keywords. More on that for another video. In terms of skills, hiring managers are normally looking for these experiences when they want to hire for an associate or entry-level role. And you might ask me, what Rob? These are so many skills that I have to pick up in order to be even considered. But no worries, I gotcha. Just a heads up, this video is not sponsored by any of the organizations I'll be talking about, but it's for you to use as a reference and decide if it's a good fit for you. Now let's explore some options. The ones that I'm currently familiar are TechFleet, which is a non-profit organization, or Collab.io. Basically, TechFleet is a community-led non-profit organization where they focus on promoting fair access to tech careers. In other words, they provide a platform where you can work with others. I've come across a range of projects that ranges from addressing mental health challenges in job seekers to supporting college saving plans for underprivileged individuals. Talk about real impact. It's worth noting that the application process typically takes about 3 to 4 weeks, and the acceptance into this program might be a little bit competitive, given that it's free of charge. But you can also join their Slack channel beforehand and reach out to the person who's in charge of recruiting, and you could also network with them. On a side note, I recently got interviewed for a product strategy apprenticeship, and I managed to get the offer, so I'll be sharing my experience more in a future video. If you happen to be waiting too much time and want to get experience as soon as possible, another option that I found so far that could be an option for others could be Collab. Similar to TechFleet, they also pair you up with a team of product designers and software developers. The main difference is that you have to brainstorm an idea from scratch that you and your team want to solve and come up with a solution, versus TechFleet, where you work directly on projects that belong to a very specific niche. The only problem is that you might need to make a small investment in order to join, but you can check their website and see if it's an option for you. If these options are not viable for you, you can always create your own experience without depending on any organizations or spending money at all. And that brings me to Plan B. Another option is to create something on your own while documenting your learnings along the way. Yes, you might think that it's harder than what you think, but in reality, it all starts with finding a pain point that you encounter during your daily life. This could range from not being good at time management, not knowing what to do at the gym. Once you find a valuable point, then the next step is to validate if it's a legit pain point for others and create a digital solution for it. Or if you want to go the extra mile, you can find throughout your personal network designers and software engineers that want to build up experience together. Like anything in life, regardless of the way you approach on getting experience, you have to take initiative and be proactive about the next step if you want things to happen. If you've never thought about becoming a professional influencer, now is the best time to do so. I know it feels weird to just post on LinkedIn. Heck, sometimes when I land a new job, I even forget to update my job status. But based on my experience, nowadays, building in public on social media makes a huge difference. Just like getting new followers or subscribers on YouTube, getting traction on LinkedIn is super important. You will ask me, why Rob? Well, because it helps you build your experience and online presence, and this is how others will perceive you. So if you post about PM stuff, people will remember you as a PM. Posts on LinkedIn can be discouraging. To post all the time and not get any traction, and seeing that green open to work banner is not fun for long amounts of time, but hey, it's part of the process. Once you have accumulated experience and have a professional social presence, now it's time to update your CV. What? We have to also update our CV tons of times?
What the heck?
I swear up until this day, I have tweaked my resume more than 10 times. It also because in the beginning, I wanted to become a software engineer, but I changed my mind. I had to play with the keywords to decide whether I needed to move the skills section to the top or below. I even heard from some peers in Canada to remove my work location so it doesn't create any bias. This meant removing my international experience and just leaving it in blank. Frustrating, isn't it? I learned the hard way that in reality, when applying for jobs, definitely quality is more important than quantity. So make sure you add those keywords and customize your CV according to that role you want to apply for, or PM in this case. It is definitely better to apply for 2 roles a day than spraying and praying and apply to 20 plus jobs using only Easy Apply. But nowadays, social media is greatly ingrained into our society, and hiring managers will look into your professional experience and LinkedIn. Documenting things like sharing your stories of wins and failures in real time will help you build your professional persona. This can possibly turn your network into people that can potentially refer you or even vouch for you because you are showing the work. Most importantly, it helps you show that you have authenticity, and authenticity is attractive because it makes you stand out. It lets your audience know, in this case, recruiters and potential coworkers, that you are not afraid to fail, have the proper learning mindset, and have the willingness to get out of the comfort zone. So remember those 3 things: knowing your current skills, creating your own experience, and finally building in public or in social media will make a difference in the long run. If you're interested in knowing about other potential careers in the tech field, watch this video that I posted previously. Or if you're curious on how I feel about software engineering bootcamps, click on this other video.